Oh, success.
There we go. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So everybody who just is hearing this recording, I just gave Tiffany a great big compliment. So, okay, you think we're ready to start?
I think so.
Okay, great. So another great trip. I know, Tiffany's heading out soon. Are you packed?
What's that?
Are you packed for your trip?
Oh, I haven't started yet, but that's just me. I'm a last minute packer.
All right, and then this will be the next one, for next year, and it's a great destination. I've been here, I guess, 4 or 5 times over the years, and each time I see something new and interesting, so I just love it. I'm frequently asked, by travelers like yourselves, Craig, tell me, what is it that you like about this particular trip? And I think it's a very fair question. If you're thinking about one time going to Spain and seeing these wonderful sights, what would make this a different type of trip and worthy of your time and money? So there's 3 things that come to mind with a trip like this. First of all, I like the time of year. I have been in Spain. I've been in this area in June, July, and August. I don't like it then. They don't air condition like we do in the United States. There's too many people there. Yes.
Your microphone keeps going kind of in and out. I'm not quite sure what's going on with it, but I just wanted to.
Yeah, I'll scoot up a little bit here, and hopefully it's not an internet situation.
No, it sounds better with you right there.
Okay, so people ask me, what are some of the things that you like about the trip? And first and foremost, I'll say I like this time of year. I was saying that I've been there in the summer, and it's too crowded. We'll wait sometimes 30 minutes, 40 minutes to get to a specific sightseeing site that we're going to. The roads are crowded, but I like fall and spring, and this is a fall trip. We're going to have great weather. It's going to be more than warm enough, but there's just the crowds are gone, and I think you're really going to enjoy that. The other thing that I like about it is the single hotel holiday aspect of it. I don't know about you folks, but anymore, I just don't like to pack and unpack every day. It's, you waste a day. I think every time you move onto a plane or move cities. And so I just love these single hotel holidays is what we call them. It's a great way to do it. Yes.
Right. It's almost like your mic mutes, or not mutes, but kind of muffles, and then it's crisp again. And once it muffles, it's a little harder to hear. Is anyone else, or is it just bothering me? Yeah, it's harder to hear when it's kind of muffled. I'm not sure.
Well, we want to get this right. How about now?
It's good when you're right there. Don't move.
Okay, we're definitely deleting this recording, Tiffany. All right, well, good. I'm glad we can have fun. I will try to stay still. I think it may be, I'm hoping it's just my microphone, not the internet. But then the last thing that I like about this particular tour is the itinerary. Its pacing is really good. And as I go through the day's events, I think you'll agree with me that it has the things included that you must see. And then it's also got, look, if you want to be busy every day, we'll keep you busy every day. So I really like the pacing, and I like the inclusions. We've got all of the breakfasts are included. We've got dinners on 5 evenings. Of course, your air transportation, the hotel, all of that is included. So it's what I call a wrap program. It's already all in there. You're going to have to pull very little money out of pocket, unless you like to shop a lot. I like the inclusions that are within the program. So why don't we do this? I've got a few shots. Most of these pictures that have been taken actually by our own travelers. So they're sort of the actual places that you're going to see over the years. We sort of collected these. And it probably will only take me 10 minutes to go through them. And then what I'd like to do then is sort of open it up to any questions that you might have. Does that sound like a good plan? All right, Tiffany, is it coming through a little better now?
No, not really. You're still kind of in and out. I'm sorry. I think it must be your microphone. It's not your internet.
Okay, Dan, that's disappointing. All right, I'm going to continue, and you know what? We have enough time. We can circle back when you come back, and maybe we'll do it again if this isn't good enough. All right. But let's go ahead and continue. So here are the inclusions: round trip airfare, round trip transfers overseas, 7 nights in a first class hotel. I'm going to show you a little bit more about that. We've got superb cuisine, breakfast, and the 5 dinners. The included tours are Mijas, Malaga, and Ronda, and then we have options to Gibraltar and Seville or Sevilla. So that's the content, and we're going to fly. I know it sounds like most of you, if not all of you, have traveled with us before, so you know from Des Moines Airport, DSM, it's hard to know exactly how we're going to get there, but you will have at least one stop on the way. But I think most of you would agree that once we get on that transatlantic flight, the big leg, it's actually very comfortable. A little bit more leg room. They've got, free wine and beer and cocktails, 3 meals, usually a lunch, a dinner, and then a breakfast that's served. So the service is much better than the domestic, and it's actually can be a nice experience when everything's on time and they don't lose your bag. So here we have a map. This is a great a way for me to show you why this is such a good single hotel holiday. We're 7 nights there in Torremolinos, and we're going to head out to these places: Gibraltar, which you see west there. Mijas is west. Sevilla is sort of northwest, and then Granada and Ronda being a little bit to the east of Torremolinos. But we're just perfectly centered to run a tour like this. And we do all of our touring by, of course, deluxe air-conditioned motor coaches with the best guides on earth. Those that have traveled with us, you've probably met some of the finest guides. You may still stay in touch with them even. They do a really good job, and they bring that local flavor that we need to your sightseeing. So our destination is the Costa del Sol. There are tens of thousands of people who vacation here every year, particularly the Brits. It's about a 100-mile stretch on the southern part of Spain along the Mediterranean. And there's places, Marbella and all kinds of great places. Torremolinos, though, is perfect for us because of the location. Our hotels, we use either the Don Pablo or the Don Marco. They're sister properties. You can actually see in the bottom slide the Don Pablo in the background there. And they're what's considered beachfront, although you have to walk across either tennis courts or a small road to get to the beach if you want to. And their beaches are different than ours. They set them up with chairs and there's a hut about every 100 yards where you can get a drink or some food. There's little bamboo slant walkways so that you don't get your feet sandy if you don't want to. They go to all of these chairs. So it's really a great European experience. Here's a sample of what the rooms look like with the Don Pablo and Don Marco, and then a shot sort of from the back here of the road. So on our first day, we want to start sort of with a shorter day. This is a half-day tour. Malaga is maybe a 20-minute ride away, and it's a great city for the shopping, in particular the glassware they're known for. And we're going to have a little jet lag, so we're going to keep this one probably from 9 to 1. And there is a very historical alcázar there that is there called Alcazaba, built in the 1400s. So we will take some touring of this area. And here's a shot of the port of Malaga from Alcazaba. And that will be the end of the first day, except for, of course, the dinner that we have. The next day, we're going to head a little farther afield. It's going to be to Mijas, and this is an artist colony, and it's so just typically Costa del Sol with whitewashed homes that are built into the side of the mountain. A great place to walk the streets, and it's known as an artist colony. In particular, ceramics and baskets are known throughout the world. So a great half-day program into Mijas. These are what some of the streets look like. And on another day, Gibraltar. Now, I've noted this is an optional trip right here. This picture right here is actually taken. So Gibraltar is about an hour and 20 minutes to the west of Torremolinos. So this picture was taken from the top. of Rock of Gibraltar. And that's the community down below the city of Gibraltar. It's a British Crown colony. There's your Rock of Gibraltar right there. It's a British Crown colony, and they've maintained it because of its significance as a port entrance to the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean at this point is only 8 miles wide. So this is the best defense point in the entire Mediterranean Sea. They can literally shut down all shipping, military, everything right from this point between here and Tangier, Morocco, 8 miles. And I like this particular shot because it's very, very unique. If you look at the bottom right, you're going to see a road that crosses an airport runway. And that is the way that we're going to go to Gibraltar, is across that runway. So they have actually a traffic light, and one light's for planes to land and the other's for our vehicles to cross. So I've never seen that anywhere else. So when we go in, though, we'll be seeing the Moorish castle. That's the fortification for Gibraltar, and it's been protecting it for hundreds of years. We'll also walk around their streets and see the Barbary apes. This slide makes me laugh. If you look at the bottom left, it has the words. It says, where people can get especially close to the monkeys. And folks, this is not really accurate. It's the monkeys that are getting especially close to the people. I've lost at least 3 ice cream cones to these monkeys. So we will tell people before you leave the thing, don't even buy an ice cream. They love the stuff. They're going to take it right out of your hand. They'll pick your pockets. They'll take your money. So it's a lot of fun, but it's not like we're going to them. They're coming to us. So this is a very fun day. On the next day, we would have an included tour, and this one would be to Ronda. So Ronda's northwest a little bit, about an hour away. It has some of the most spectacular, truly Spanish scenery. It's built on a river gorge, and that's the Puente de Nuevo bridge that spans this gorge. And at the bottom, it has even a waterfall that comes out, and it splits the city. So the residents cross back and forth daily. Just spectacular scenery. It's also known for its bullfighting. This has the oldest bullfighting ring in Spain, and so it's the #1 spot for bullfighting. And after we see the ring, we will go into their museum and learn a little bit more about the history of it. And from there, they actually have a gift shop that's really nice. I don't normally like gift shops, but this one has a lot of great stuff. And gentlemen, if you want to buy a matador outfit, you can there. They're very nice. So that would be our Ronda day. The next day, this is an optional program, a little further afield. We made it an option because it's about a 3-hour drive to Seville. Seville is considered one of the most romantic cities in the world. Has a lot of good reasons to go. And for those that have the energy, I think it's well worthwhile. But it is a 3 hours each direction to get there. So that's the reason that we do put it in as an option. Couple of the main things that you'd want to see versus the Cathedral of Seville. This is the 4th largest in the world. Okay, so it is ahead of the one in Florence. I think Milan is ahead of it. Rome certainly is. And I think there's one in Rio that's bigger, but all the other cathedrals you go into are smaller than this. And it was actually built on a mosque originally, and then they put a Catholic church on top of it. And of course, every church has its bell tower. We have some people who've actually walked to the top of this. I have not, but there's time to do so on the tour. And then our next stop is going to be Princess Maria Luisa de Orleans Park. This is a huge park, like Central Park or even larger. It was dedicated in late 1800s by the princess to the people, and they put a lot of different things in here. And among them is what is called Plaza España, Plaza de España. And they built this for the American Exposition in 1929, and it consists of all kinds of shops and street vendors, great places to eat, bars. And if they're holding a public event, if you see ever something on TV, for example, in Seville, and it's outside, it's going to be at Plaza España. It's just a massive plaza and a great place to hold public events. Another shot of Plaza España. So that is a wonderful day. This is one more stop that we'll actually make here And this is the Tower of Gold. So this sits out on the river. And we have to keep in mind Christopher Columbus actually, 1492, set out from here and from this river. And what the Moors used to do is take a chain from the bottom of this and span it across the river and try to keep the Christians from coming further upriver. So that was the original purpose of this 12-sided building that they built. All right, so that's our Seville day. You can see it's up to the northwest there. And then the next day, we have an included program that's going to Granada. As you can see, it's northeast of here. Granada is only about an hour and 15 minutes away. And our main destination for Granada is a place called the Alhambra. And out of all of the visited sites in Spain, more so than in Madrid or anywhere else, the Alhambra is the #1 visited spot, and it's because of its Moorish history. Over 800 years of wonderful history exists, and it's been very, very well preserved. We'll be able to see what it was like during that era. In the heart of the Alhambra Palace is, in fact, a place called General Life Gardens.
No, it's Generalife.
Oh, thank you very much. And Generalife Gardens is what's of interest there to me, and particularly is that there's so much water available and everything is growing so green, and yet it's not done with pumps at all. It's done by gravity-fed systems coming from the Sierra Nevada mountain range, not unlike the one in California. And they have towering spouts of water and waterfalls going and all kinds of things. And to me, it was just remarkable what they've been able to do with a gravity-fed system. So it's just a beautiful garden. Then we'll visit the cathedral. And of course, the chapel would be our last stop on that day. And then we would head back. Normally on this last night, we'd be doing a flamenco show, is included within the program. And so it's a really nice ending to the tour. And then at this point, you would have been there 7 nights. And so you have a chance to fly home, or if you want, you can extend to Madrid. Now, the way that we get to Madrid is kind of interesting. Instead of flying to Madrid, we would use the AVE, which is their high-speed train system.
It's really nice.
So thank you. So about 130 miles an hour, smooth as can be. And for Americans, we love high-speed trains. You know, we don't get to get on them here in the United States, and so it's a real treat to travel that way. I think we use the one originating in Malaga, and it comes right into central Madrid, and then we take care of your luggage and everything from there. So great way to do it. It's 2 nights in a hotel, includes a Madrid city tour. So we've got Costa del Sol, the Plaza Mayor, and Calle Mayor are all on there, as well as the Prado Museum. And the way that we do the Prado is kind of unique in that we hold it for the end of the day. Everybody has a ticket. And what I've learned is some people want to spend an hour there. They want to see some Goya, some Velázquez, and then that's it. They've seen, you know, highlights, if you will. Others would like to spend as much time as they like to spend. And so our guide will tell you, hey, you can get back by, you know, Uber, taxi. This is the name of our hotel. For those of you that want to leave, we're going to have the bus go back now, but stay as long as you'd like. And I find that usually more than half of the people will stay and enjoy the museum for, you know, as long as they would like. All right, so that would conclude. At that point, you'd be gone 9 nights, 10 days. All right, let's open it up to questions.
This is
I'm sorry.
Gene, why don't you go ahead?
okay. Sorry, it's hard to tell when I'm here. I have 2 questions. This really sounds nice to me. I've been to Granada. I've never been to Malaga or some of the other places. My only thing is, if I got to Granada and down there, I'd really like to go back to Cordoba. I just absolutely loved Cordoba. So I was wondering if you had considered doing a optional trip to Cordoba instead of Sevilla or Granada or so, or not Granada. I don't want to skip Granada. Definitely going to Granada.
All
Gibraltar.
right, so we've got a returning person for Granada. And it's funny that Jean would say that because, you know, everybody who goes to Spain must go to Granada. So Cordoba is geographically, so you folks know, it's between Madrid and Sevilla. I've been there. There is a high-speed train that leaves, in fact, from Madrid. And what I would do, for those that have an interest, I would extend my stay in Madrid, which we're happy to do. Tiffany knows we do all kinds of crazy things at the end of these programs. Extend the stay by a day or two. You could actually go to Cordoba for the day by high-speed train. See, there's a mosque there with the bone of the Prophet Muhammad. It's an interesting city. And then you could return to Madrid, or you could stay the night and then return to Madrid, and we would just fly you home a little bit later. But the way this is set up, it's not easy to do because we're going to Seville.
Okay, I mean, what I did is I did look up some stuff on the internet because I used to have to plan all my own trips. I'm getting lazy in my old age. And there is a day trip from Malaga to Cordoba that you can take.
Yeah, there's a seating coach. Maybe it's
That I
available.
was thinking maybe I would do, you know, if you weren't doing anything, I might consider doing that and pick one of the free days.
Yeah, you sure could. Just don't do one of the options and do that on that day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I have one other short question. If we do this, which we'd like, we would like to go to Brussels for a few days. And so instead of flying us directly home from Malaga, could you route us through Brussels and then maybe 3 days later come home from Amsterdam or Brussels?
Yes.
to the plains?
Yeah, we sure can. So we send out a little form when you first make your reservation, and it says, stay a little longer with a question mark. And that's where your custom trip planning comes in. And you just tell us what it is you want to do. And then when the time comes, which is usually around airline ticketing time, maybe 60 days before you go, we plan all of that out. And you can really do whatever you want. Obviously, if the airfare's a little bit more to come back from Brussels, and if it costs a little bit to get between, say, Madrid and Brussels, then you get billed for that flight. But we call these deviations, by the way. We welcome deviations. You're there anyway. Why not?
Well, that's it. The plane flight, we'd like to go there for a few days. And I did notice there were planes from Malaga to Brussels.
Yeah, there's a lot of flights within Europe, a city jet, and they're low-cost carriers.
2 other short questions, just logistics. I downloaded the brochure off of the internet, and it has us departing in March, but I thought you said something about fall, so I want to know if the dates are right.
No, the date's all right. I apologize. I did
no
say
problem.
fall. No, I meant spring. I said it's very nice in spring and fall, and then I said something about fall. That's my mistake.
It's okay. I don't have any problem with that. And let's see. And the order and the brochure was different. I think you were just going through your slides, so it wasn't a problem. We'd go the brochure order.
Yeah, in fact, we rearrange the trip. Even between now and when you go, it'll be rearranged. We'll take a look at holidays where there's different events in different cities, and we're trying to plan it out to be as best for our travelers as possible.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is Pat, and I had a question about possibly Toledo, because that has got such a rich history of all of the churches. That's where the term Holy Toledo came from. Is there any opportunity for a site trip to Toledo?
From Torremolinos, it's a much shorter distance than Cordoba. It would be. So I would say yes, but it's even shorter from Madrid. And you might be able to get it in within the 2 nights that we're there, in fact.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 45 minutes down to Toledo. So
Just as an FYI, when I was in Spain, we took a city bus from Madrid to Toledo, and it wasn't very long at all. And we spent the day there and took the bus back, and it was really easy.
Well, that was a concern. I wanted to make sure we had an opportunity while we were in Spain to go to Toledo.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Don Quixote, the land of Don Quixote. So
Yes.
it'd be a good thing to do.
So how much are the optional trips?
Gosh, I should know. Seville is over $100. And I don't recall.
So what happens, same thing, if you sign up today, then later on, they'll send you the optional trip information and then the costs and the registration.
Yeah, for people who are reserved, we send out the optional tours, and we'll make another request as to whether or not they want Madrid at that same time. Because sometimes when people sign up, they don't know if they want to go to Madrid, and that's fair. So we always mail out the options. We may have slightly different options at that time. So that would come after you've made a reservation.
Is it $649 a person or $649 a couple? Or it
Per
says-
person, yeah. For Madrid, it's $649 per person. But that includes your train and the hotel and the breakfast and the transfers. I think it's a great value.
The single supplement, what you're seeing is if it's a single traveler, it's a little bit more money than a couple traveling together. Any other questions?
Okay, you're all experienced travelers. You know the electricity is different. Yeah. They're on the euro. Need a passport. As of right now, it's so easy to go, folks. They're not testing. You don't necessarily have to be vaccinated. They're not testing on the way back either.
Craig, do you want to talk about the different insurance options now with COVID? There's that cancel for any reason and some other things that you guys have started to offer to give people some comfort level. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. And so first, know this, everybody gets an insurance policy within the cost of their tour. It's a good one for anything that could happen to you after you fly from the United States. So we call that post-departure insurance. So for example, if you lose a bag, there's some insurance for that. If your flight is delayed more than a certain number of hours, right, and you have to buy a ticket to go catch up to the group for some reason, that is covered. If you trip coming off the bus and twist an ankle and need to go see a doctor, it has some medical in there for you. If you end up missing a couple of days of the trip, it has some insurance in there for that. So we call it post-departure insurance. Everybody has that. So the next step up, though, people ask, well, what happens if I have to cancel, right? What if I get sick, or what if my parents get sick, or a relative gets sick? What then? What happens to my money? So that's the primary reason to buy the cancellation insurance policy that we have. And that'll be offered directly to you. It's actually on a click through the back of the brochure. You can buy it at the same time. In addition to that, we should have an option there for something in the industry that is called CFAR, so cancel for any reason, right? But CFAR has a couple of, it sounds great, and it is great, but it has a couple of interesting provisions. One, you don't get all your money back. You get 75% of your money back. Okay, whereas the regular cancellation insurance, if you cancel because you can't go, you're sick, and that includes COVID, by the way, then you get all your money back. So the main advantage to cancel for any reason is they literally don't need a reason. You can cancel, I think it's up to 1 or 2 days before, and not even give them a reason, and they will give you back 75% of your money. How'd I do, Tiffany?
No, it's good. Any other questions for Craig?
Before COVID, they were talking in New York and Europe, mostly in the countries, about the visa that Americans would have to have along with our passports. Did Did that ever occur, or is it going to occur? Or did COVID take that off the tracks, or would Spain not be on there?
Did you hear the question, Craig?
I think they asked if we need a visa for this trip, but did it have to do with the length of the stay, maybe?
No, so prior to COVID, Europe was starting to go down the track of requiring visas to travel in Europe.
Okay, yeah, so they did enact the green pass, I think they ended up calling it. By the time they got it together and were using it, we did have some people travel and have to fill that form out. It's all gone by the wayside though, so not currently needed.
Yeah, kind of derailed it. COVID derailed a lot of things.
They wanted to come over and spend our money now.
Yeah.
But
Of course. So just a couple of things I'm gonna point out. If you look, the least expensive this trip gets is $32.99 if your deposit is in by the 30th of this month. And then the next date you're gonna wanna pay attention to is October 15th. And then that's that next step for the $33.99. So if this is something you're really interested in doing, I would just encourage you to have everything done by the 30th to save yourself some money. You do not have to pay for the full amount. It's just the $450 deposit. And then the form on the back. There is an online form. If you were to click through the link, you can fill it out online. Which is newer since I think the last time you guys have traveled, so you can do it that way. And pay by credit card that way. You can still fill this out and they'll give you a call or give you a credit card form to fill out. So that's pretty easy too. Well, Craig, thank you. I don't think anybody else has any questions. If they do, reach out to me. I'm gone. I leave for Ireland tomorrow and I come back on the 23rd. But you can always reach out to Chamber Discoveries. You can send me an email. I will probably be checking email, just a little bit of a time difference. I'm happy to answer any questions or make sure that they get answered for you too.
Yeah, I'll give you my phone number if you want to give me a call in Tiffany's absence. It's 559-999-7593. All right. Well, you know what? Thank you very much, folks. Feel free to give Tiffany or I a call. And I apologize for the audio quality here. I'm going to have to figure out what happened. It's the first time that's happened. So I appreciate your patience.
Okay. Thank you so much. And then will you send me the recording to Craig?
I don't know if I want to, Tiffany.
Or maybe
I'm good.
our, not sure.
I'm going to watch it first.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you later.
All right,
Bye, Craig.
folks. Hey, have a great day.